The Men in Black franchise introduced us to a lot of intergalactic threats that we have no idea about. But out of all the aliens we have met in this franchise, one of the most memorable ones has to be Serleena, the enigmatic Kylosian queen who has been chasing the light of Zartha for 25 years. In today's video, we will take a deep dive into the lore of Serleena and how, hailing from an unknown planet, she ended up becoming one of the most menacing villains in the series. So prepare yourself for this journey through the cosmos and let's get to it. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. Who is Serleena, the most powerful Kylosian? To understand who Serleena is, we have to go back to 1978. On one fateful night in the midst of torrential rain, the princess of Zartha, Lorana, came to Earth. Turns out since the 1920s, Zarthan and Kylosians have been at war. After 50 years of war, the princess decided to ask the Men in Black for help. The agent that she went to was Agent K. While she asked the Men in Black to save the light of Zartha, Agent K had to deny her request, for if Earth got involved in this intergalactic space battle, Earth would definitely be destroyed by the Kylosians. While this conversation was happening, a high-ranking agent of the Kylosian army, Serleena, showed up on Earth, and as you may have guessed, she too was after the light of Zartha, and she was after Princess Lorana. She asked for the light from the Men in Black, and Agent K told her that they were neutral in this conflict and they did not have the light. He told her that she would have to go and get the light herself if she wanted it that badly, and using his watch, he activated a spaceship. Seeing the spaceship take off, Serleena shoots Princess Lorana to gain an advantage in the war and goes after the light, leaving Earth. For the next 25 years, Serleena searched planet after planet for the light, but to no avail. Out of anger, she would destroy the world as she went for the next one on her list. So you definitely do not want her getting mad. While on this fruitless search, Serleena received a message from Scrad. Now, we're not sure if he's Kylosian or not, but he definitely knows that pissing off Serleena is not the way to go. Scrad is a bit of a moron, and he has a smaller head popping out of his backpack known as Charlie. Apparently, Scrad knew about Serleena and her search for the light of Zartha. It turns out the light of Zartha never left Earth in the first place. Now, Scrad doesn't actually know where the light is, but he knows of a guy who might know where it is, so that's definitely a start. As for Serleena, her ship is not as big as you might think. It's smaller than a puppy. I don't think it's even a meter long. The ship entered Earth and landed in a park. A dog, somehow sensing that something was coming, managed to escape from his owner and ran around the park until the spaceship landed. Once it did, Serleena slithered out of the ship and the dog approached her with curiosity. Now, I know that when I say Serleena, you're all thinking of Larry Flynn Boyle, and I honestly don't blame you, but that's not actually what Serleena looks like. Serleena resembles a mix between a serpent and a vine with a bulb at the end. That's what emerged from the spaceship. Initially, both Serleena and the dog seemed to regard each other with some curiosity. However, things quickly changed when the dog began barking incessantly. Serleena let out a roar with the bulb splitting open and tiny tendrils with more bulbs emerging from her mouth. The dog ran away in fear, making it clear just how dangerous she could be. After getting rid of the dog, Serleena slithered around the park grounds when she noticed a magazine. The wind blew the pages and Serleena came across an advertisement featuring Lara Flynn Boyd as an underwear model for Victoria's Secret. Seeing that, Serleena decided to take on the form of the woman, complete with red lips, stilettos, and lingerie. Just after she finished her transformation, a mugger showed up. He called her Tasty and dragged her behind a bush. We can assume he had some nefarious intentions, but he never got to fulfill them because Serleena gobbled him up. She emerged from the bushes with a very prominent belly and went back to her magazine. However, upon seeing the woman in the magazine again, Serleena regurgitated the guy, took his clothes, and changed into them. She then stopped by Scrad's place and got the details about a local pizzeria where apparently the guy who knows about the light is from. She went in and threatened the guy at the pizzeria, and while at first he only claimed his innocence, he suddenly turned a bit robotic and told Serleena that she was far too late to stop the light of Zartha. With this basic confirmation that the light was on Earth, Serleena got rid of the guy and decided on her next course of action, infiltrating the MIB headquarters. She knew she had to get to K, and while it's true that K was neuralized by J, the headquarters had a deneuralizer that would get them back on track. So it's Scrad, Serleena walked into the MIB headquarters. She claimed that she wanted to be an underwear model on Earth. Scrad pretended to have a heart attack at the sight of her lingerie, and while the MIB personnel were distracted by resuscitating Scrad, Serleena let out her tentacles, and captured every agent, putting the whole building in lockdown and activating Code 101. Unbeknownst to her, right as she was doing this, Agents K and J were in the deneuralizer about to restore K's memory, but thanks to Code 101, they were flushed out and managed to escape. Scrad and Charlie informed Serleena about the escape, and since Serleena couldn't let Scrad leave, she freed all the MIB prisoners: Dog Poop, Cornface, Fleshballs, Mosh Tendrils, Pineal Eye, and Jara. While these villains went after the agents, Serleena tried to get Agent Zed to give her details about the light. She told him that giving her the light would be a win-win situation, as if the light didn't leave the planet by midnight, it would go nuclear and destroy the world. Zed listened to her, called up Kay, and handed Serleena the phone, but it wasn't Kay on the other side, it was Michael Jackson, who really wanted to be Agent M. Using this as a surprise, Zed attacked Serleena, but he was soon beaten down. Serleena also noticed that Frank, the talking dog, was out and about, and she managed to capture him. Using Frank's voice, she learned that the light was at the worm's place. She went there, slashed the worms in half, and kidnapped Laura. Upon returning to MIB, she asked Jara to build her a ship, promising to give him Agent J in exchange. Serleena locked Laura, the young waitress from the pizzeria, in the spaceship. As Laura's bracelet seemed to be the light once the spaceship was built, she instructed Jara to take Laura to Kyleth immediately. However, just then the elevator door opened and Agents K and J entered. K managed to keep Serleena busy while J went off to save Laura from Jara. Serleena easily one-ups Agent K and is super arrogant about it. She hopes that K will be the one to land a killing blow on her. But K calmly corrects her, saying that her flight to Kyleth has been cancelled. Serleena taunts him by mentioning his feelings for Lorana, but Agent K remains unamused. Just as she's about to kill him, however, Agent J shows up and shoots her with a weapon that disintegrates her. K, J, and Laura then board a car to head to the exact coordinates of the light. Although it initially seems that Serleena has been destroyed, it turns out that her initial vine worm form actually survived. From there, Serleena regenerates her entire body and goes after the trio in a futuristic car of her own. To save themselves from Serleena, J tricks her into following them into the subway, where a huge worm named Jeff lives. Jeff swallows Serleena and the vehicle whole, and the trio reaches the rooftop where the shuttle for the light of Zartha remains hidden. They think they're safe from Serleena, and this is when it's revealed that Zartha's light is none other than Laura herself. As Jay and Laura come to terms with this revelation, Jeff bursts through the roof. At first, it seems like Jeff is just being his usual self, but it's actually Serleena who has mutated into a worm-like form. Jay fights Serleena to keep her away from Laura, while Kay talks to Laura, hoping to help her accept her destiny. Finally, Laura boards the shuttle and Kay saves Jay from Serleena as the shuttle launches. Serleena takes her true form of a huge vine-like plant and attempts to swallow the shuttle whole, but just in time, Agents K and J casually shoot her with their weapon, destroying her for good. What does her true physical form look like? There's no doubt that Lara Flynn Boyle absolutely embodies Serleena. The whole getup is eerie with the right amount of sex appeal balanced perfectly with badassery. As a Kylothian, Serleena's main power is metamorphosis. When she first came to Earth in 1978, she didn't have a human form. Instead, she appeared as a huge mass of tendrils and vines in a trench coat. The way she looked reminded me of the mating ball in Anaconda, The Hunt for the Blood Orchid. It was just so creepy to see Serleena in that form. When she finally lands on Earth after receiving the message from Scrad, she initially appears as a plant-like worm, which at first glance doesn't seem dangerous, but the moment she started slithering around, it gave me the heebie-jeebies. In addition to these forms, we also see her as a mutated vine monster that rips Jeff apart. In her final form, she looks like a projectile ball of snake-like plants with a face. While she doesn't have a true physical form, it's clear that her Kylothian anatomy makes her a plant-based entity. In some of her concept art, she's depicted as a humanoid or caecilian-like plant. Sometimes she's also shown as a monster plant with legs, which I think would have been a sick visual in the movie. Her powers make you run for your life. Now, given that she's a moving plant, you might think, hey, she can't be that dangerous, but that's where you're wrong, dear viewers. Plant or not, Serleena is extremely dangerous. As a Kylothian, her main power is shapeshifting. Unlike other shapeshifters we've seen on screen, Serleena shapeshifts based on her tendrils. Remember the worm we saw? Yeah, that's her primary neural root. From that neural root, several tendrils extend and wind themselves around it, tighter and tighter, allowing Serleena to take whatever form she wants. As they shape the body, the tendrils start thinning out, helping Serleena achieve a disguise that's absolutely perfect. Unlike other shapeshifters whose entire body works as a single organ for shapeshifting, Serleena uses multiple tendrils for this process. Perhaps that's why it's so easy for her to regain her form even after being blasted by Agent J. These tendrils that form her entire body can extend based on Serleena's wishes. They act as both whips and ropes, which she uses to capture her victims. In the infiltration scene, we see Serleena use all of her neural roots to effortlessly capture all the MIB agents and keep them locked away in what seemed like a chia pet. As if being able to shapeshift and manipulate her tendrils wasn't enough, Serleena can also regenerate anything that's blasted away. Thanks to her shapeshifting ability, even if a small part of her primary neural root remains intact, Serleena can regenerate her entire body from that and grow to whatever size she deems fit. She can also mimic others' voices when the situation calls for it, as we saw when she copied Frank's voice in the movie. While all of these abilities are terrifying, personally the power of Serleena that scares and intrigues me the most is her method of digestion. Kylothians seem capable of swallowing large objects and digesting them within seconds with ease. I mean, a fast metabolism is always nice to have. On top of all this, Serleena possesses super strength and superhuman durability. I mean, did you see everything she went through in the entire movie? Did you ever see her break a sweat? She punched her way through adult men without any effort. She even overpowered Agent J to a degree, and that's a highly trained agent we're talking about. She also took Agent Zed's attacks very casually and incapacitated him right after. Even when Jeff ate her, Serleena managed to survive and come out on top. Marvelous verdict. Whether you're a fan of alien anatomy or simply a fan of Lara Flynn Boyle, Serleena is definitely an interesting character to see on screen. While she remains composed throughout the movie, you can sense just how angry she is with herself for missing the light of Zartha and how desperately she needs it. The fact that we can understand her plight without excusing her behavior is what makes her such a great villain in my eyes. Let us know in the comments which villain you want us to cover next from the Men in Black franchise, and I'll see you guys next time. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.